Hey guys, it's Brie. So today we're going to be talking about pubic hair because I've been getting so many questions from, I think, younger girls who have just started going through puberty, who have just started growing their pubic hair, asking what they're supposed to do with it. And this kind of saddens me that we had this question, but I will go through today all the different options you have and also give you some information on what the role of your pubic hair actually is, and you might change your mind about what you want to do with your pubic hair after you've heard that. So there are four main options of things you could do with your pubic hair that don't require you to go to see a beautician or a clinic or something like that. So the first one is just leaving it the way it is, which is totally acceptable. The second one is trimming it. That's basically just using a pair of scissors and trimming your pubic hair back a bit, but not completely off. The third option is to shave your pubic hair, which means you either just tie it around the edges or you shave the whole thing off. And then the fourth one is to wax. Again, just tidying up around the edges. So sometimes people tend to wax on their inner thighs and across their bikini line, so up the top, and also kind of round on their bum and stuff as well. Some people like to do it there. Or you can just wax the whole thing off. So I feel like for some reason society seems to be impressing on us the fact that we need to look like prepubescent girls again, by having no hair down there, that we should be completely bare and nothing at all. But that's not actually good for our bodies, and I'll tell you why. So personally, I've never waxed my pubic hair. I have shaved it, I have trimmed it, and I have just left it alone. Personally, I now choose to just trim it, but I have in the past shaved it, and anyone who has done this before will know that feeling of a few days after you've shaved your pubic hair. You'll shave it in the bath, and it will be beautifully smooth and clean, and all that kind of stuff, and you'll be so pleased with it. And then a few days later, you'll be sitting down and you will discover that you have spikes and needles growing into your vagina. It is the most uncomfortable sensation physically possible, I think, and the worst time to do it is just before you get your period, because you're sitting on these pads, you've got these tiny little hairs growing that feel like spikes, and they're just rubbing and abrasing against everything, and oh, it's horrific. I used to shave like once a month or something, and then think, oh my god, that's great, why didn't I do that sooner? And then a few days later be reminded by the spikes why I shouldn't do that, and then I'd leave it again, and a few months later I'd think, oh no, maybe shaving wasn't that bad, and then I realised it actually was after I did it. So I went through the cycle a few times, and now I just prefer to stick to trimming it, which is much better. And I tend to do this the day or two before my period comes, just because I find it's a little bit easier to get my menstrual cup in and out, and also to clean myself up after wearing a cloth pad if I've just trimmed the hair back a little bit. But I still keep it there, and here are some reasons why. Pubic hair removal naturally irritates and inflames the hair follicles that are left behind, and it causes microscopic open wounds, which you can't see with your naked eye, but they're there because, as suggested, they're microscopic. Now, when that irritation is combined with the warm, moist environment of your genitalia, it becomes a perfect breeding ground for some of the nastiest bacterial pathogens we currently have around, such as group A Streptococcus, Staphylococcus aureus, which is the bacteria I've talked about before. It's linked to TSS. It likes to breed on tampons, again, because you insert them into your vagina and it's a warm, moist environment. And also Staphylococcus aureus' nasty cousin, MRSA, which stands for methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. In other words, it's resistant to antibiotics, which is what makes it so difficult to treat and why they have a real problem with it in hospitals. You also increase your chance of getting staph boils, which I will try and find, it'll be graphic, but I'll try and find a picture and put it here so you can see what I'm talking about and why you really don't want one of these, because if you do get one, the chances are you're going to need to have an incision made to drain away the infection, and that can also leave behind some pretty significant scarring. Also, some clinicians are finding that freshly shaved pubic areas can also be more vulnerable to catching herpes, which in turn could also mean, although they haven't actually done any experiments on this, you're more vulnerable to getting STDs, which, let's face it, nobody wants that. So your pubic hair does have a function. It provides cushioning against friction, protects against bacteria and other unwanted pathogens. So next time you're wondering whether you should shave or wax off your pubic hair, just remember, if you look at a picture of a porn star or however else you should happen to see a perfectly shaved or perfectly preened vagina and genital area, just think to yourself, bacteria breeding ground. Or alternatively, pubic hair, here to save you from the nastiness of bacteria, pathogens, and general discomfort. Also, just remember, every single human being on the planet gets it. It's not like it's some mysterious thing that's just growing on you. No, we all have it. I like to think if it's on our bodies and it's been there for centuries, there's probably a reason for it, which I think is pretty sound advice to follow at the end of the day. But I hope you found this useful, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye!